Okay, last time, like in last slide, we discussed this flowchart for repetition structure because we discussed three different control structure. Number one, the sequence control structure. Second, selection control structure, and third one, repetition control structure. So as I told you that here our main focus is in this lecture, our main focus is on the selection control structure. Okay, so these are basically types of selection control structure: if statement, if else statement, and nested if else statement. We will study each of them one by one in more detail in this session. So first of all, we are going to talk about the if. Now if normally it's a decision control structure. Keep this thing in your mind that in our everyday life, okay, we can make decisions, and based on these decision or based on some condition, we make some decision. For example, uh, you want to go to a shop and you basically there is a condition that if the shop is open, I will buy something. If it is closed, then I have to come back. Now there is basically condition if the shop is open. Fine. Similarly, the university gives admission to the students based on some condition. Okay, uh, like if student percentage is 60, okay, then he would be given admission in a particular department. Similarly, there are multiple other decisions that you can take. For example, if today is snowing, then I'm not going to go to university. So in our everyday life, we are taking these decisions based on some condition. Now the same way, in our previous program, we wrote all the programs in a sequence control structure, but we can make them more interesting, and we can make them more a bit fun if we're going to introduce some decision statement in our program. Now if a statement is one decision structure, we call it the selection control structure. So if here it is a keyword and we use this in program. If statement is a decision making statement. It is the simplest form of selection constructs, okay, because after this we will see that what is the other selection construct. For example, the other construct is if else, okay. So this if is the most simplest form of the this selection construct. If statement selects a statement or group of statement for execution if the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will do nothing. Keep this thing in your mind that you can execute a statement, single statement or group of statements for execution if the condition is true. The condition is given as a relational expression, because we talked about the relational expression in last lecture, if you remember, when we were discussing relational operator. Relational operator, they use some operators, okay, like greater than, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to. All these operators are used in relational expression. So if statement basically uses relational expression in the condition. Now this, how can you write a program with if statement? Okay, you can write the program in if statement this way, and we call this as syntax or the structure of writing if statement. The general syntax of if statement is as under: if the keyword, okay, you have to use the keyword and then condition and then relational expression, either condition or relational expression. Keep this thing in your mind, okay. Condition, because here we are going to use some relational operators. Fine, and then statement will be there. Now in the above syntax, if is a keyword. First of all, let me write a very simple program using this if statement, okay, and then we're going to jump to this explanation. Now let's assume that we are comparing two values, okay. We are comparing two values, integer a and b. I have declared two variables, okay, and I'm going to print a message, please enter value in A. So I'm going to use cn object, cout, please enter value in B. Enter value in B. There should be some space for the readability purpose, and then we have to use the cn and B. Now done. Let us try to use the if statement. Okay, if statement. Now here in the two parentheses, okay, in the two parentheses we need to input some value. Okay, not input some value, sorry, we need to give condition by using some relational operator that we discussed in last lecture. Okay, so A greater than B. Fine. Now we are comparing these two values. If A is greater than B, then this statement should be executed. A, whatever message you want to print, hurrah, or let's welcome to programming class. Welcome to programming class. That's it. Okay, so this is how you are going to write the if statement in your program. Now let's try to run this program and see the result. First of all, if this condition is true, then this statement will be executed. If the condition is not true, then nothing will be displayed. So 5, I'm going to put 5 in A. Okay, in B I'm going to put 5. So both values are equal. Now after this, the condition will be checked. If A greater than 5, okay, this statement will be executed. If not, if this condition is false, nothing will be displayed. So here 5 is equal to 5, but A, because in A I have stored 5, in B I have stored 5. So after comparison, okay, the condition will be false, so nothing will be displayed, okay, because A in this case is not greater than B. So let's try to run this program. You can see there is nothing to display on the screen, okay, because the condition is false. Now let's try to make this condition true. How can we make this condition true? Is that we have to input 10 in A and 4 in B. So now 10 is greater than 4. You can see here the condition will be evaluated. So 10 greater than B, condition is true. Now when the condition is true, this statement will be executed. Welcome to programming class. So this is how you are going to write the if statement or the program using if statement. First of all, you have to use this keyword if, and then you have to put condition using some relational operators, and then you need to write this statement. Now in the above syntax, if is a keyword. Now what if you want to print or execute multiple statements, okay? Because if you want to execute multiple statements, for example, this is the example of multiple statements, okay? Let me write some more statements here. Cout Afghanistan is the best place. It's the best place, okay? And again another statement, Afghanistan first. Now these are the three statements, but when I run this program, let's see the result that when I run this program, what happens to this statement, okay? Let's make the condition true, 10 greater than 5, okay? So the condition will be true. All the statements are basically executed one by one, but keep this thing in your mind that when the condition is true, only this statement will be executed, okay? If you want to execute multiple statements, okay, then you have to enclose them in double quotation, sorry, in brackets, okay, like this. So this is the syntax of if statement using multiple statements. Now you run this program and check the result, okay. So let's make the same thing for, and now you can see all the statements are basically executed here. If the condition is true, okay, only this statement will be executed if there is no these curly brackets, but we have put the curly brackets here, okay. So that's why all these statements will be executed, because these are multiple statements and you want to enclose them in this double brackets or braces. So this is the syntax for compound statement in if statement. If condition slash relation expression by using some relational operator, okay, statement 1, statement 2 and statement n or number of statements. Here you can see I have put 3 different statements, okay. So in this curly braces, that's why the program is going to display all these statements. The next, this is basically the flow chart for the if statement. Now again, if the condition is true, okay, if the condition is true, the control will transfer to this statement, okay, and the program will then be terminated. But if the condition is false, okay, the control will transfer this way and the program will be terminated, okay, and nothing will be displayed on the screen. So this is basically, there are some drawback. Let's see the drawback of if statement. The main disadvantage of if statement is that when the condition is true, it will execute a statement, but if the condition is false, it will do nothing. Fine, just like you checked here, if let's try to run this program and make the condition false, so nothing will be displayed here, okay. 4 and 10, this time the condition is false because 4 is not greater than 10. So when I press the enter button, nothing will be displayed because I have put all the statements in this block, okay, in the braces. See, nothing is displayed, okay. This is the main problem with this if statement. If the condition is true, it's going to display something, but if the condition is false, then it's going to display nothing. So for this we have if statement, sorry, if else statement. Now if else statement means this is basically two-way decision. If condition is true, it's going to print one set of statements. If condition is false, then it's going to print another set of statements. But we cannot do this with the help of simple if statement. If else statement is another type of if statement, okay. It executes one block of statements when the condition is true and other when it is false. So again, there is two-way decision. If you cannot do this, then you can do something else, okay. For example, if you cannot go to a very fancy restaurant, okay, because you have less money in your pocket, okay, you can go to a very cheap restaurant. So this is basically done, but you cannot do this with if statement. If you don't have enough money, then you cannot go anywhere. But in if else statement, you can do this. Like if you don't have enough money, you have less money in your pocket, you can go to a cheap restaurant. That's why this would give you much better result as compared to the if statement. In any situation, one block is executed and the other is skipped. Even if the condition is true, some statements will be executed. Even if the condition is false, some statements will be. So at any situation, statements will be executed. In if else statement, both blocks of statement can never be executed. Keep this thing in your mind that both blocks in if statement cannot be executed. We will see that how what does this mean. Both blocks mean if the condition is true or if the condition is false. These are two different blocks, okay. So based on the condition, one block will be executed. Both blocks of statements can never be skipped. Also, you have to keep this thing in your mind that both blocks of statement can never be skipped. You cannot execute both block, or you cannot skip both blocks of the statement. Let's see the syntax here using if else statement. The general syntax, first of all, if the keyword condition and then statement, okay, else statement 2. Okay, the above syntax tells the compiler that execute statement 1 if the condition is true, and execute statement 2 in case the condition is false. If this condition is true, this statement will be executed. If this condition is false, then this statement will not be executed, but control will directly jump to this statement. Let us see the flow chart, and then I'm going to write a simple example using program. If else statement flow chart, if this condition is true, this statement will be executed and control will transfer to the endpoint of the program. Similarly, if the condition is false, then this statement will be executed. So either this statement will be executed or this statement will be executed. Let's try to write a simple program. Okay, we are going to work on the same program. Okay, so here I have declared two variables, okay, and then a message will be printed on the screen. The cn, I have used cn for input value, print a message on the screen, cn object for input value, and then this condition. If this condition is true, these statements will be executed, okay, and if this condition is false, then these statements will be executed. Okay, let us first make this one like one statement. So cout A is greater than B. Okay, and okay, if the condition is true, this statement will be executed. If the condition is false, this statement will be executed. B is greater than A. Okay, you cannot do this thing with you couldn't do this thing with simple if statement. So we have another construct, and that construct is what? That is if else construct. Let's try to run this code and see the result on the screen. Now if I input 4 in A and 1 in B, now according to the condition, condition will be true because A is greater than B. In A I have stored 4, in B I have stored 1. So in this case 4 is greater than 1. If condition is true, this statement will be executed. Okay, so let's try to press enter. Now you can see A is greater than B. This is basically displayed on the screen. Now let us make the condition false deliberately in order to see the result. Okay, for example, we have 10 here, and we have 100 here. Now according to the condition, this statement will not be executed, okay, rather than this statement will be executed, because in A I have stored 10, in B I have stored 100. You can look at this terminal screen as well. Okay, so 10 greater than 100, it means the condition is false, so it's not going to print this statement, but rather it will directly jump to this statement, and B is greater than A will be printed on the screen. You can see the result, B is greater than A. So this is basically the syntax and the way that how can you write a program using if else statement. But if you are only if you only want to execute one statement, but what if you want to execute multiple statements based on the condition, then for this we use compound statement syntax. Okay, two or more statements are written in curly brackets, so you have to use the block. Then you have to enclose the statements in curly braces. The syntax for compound statement and if else statement is as follow. First of all, you have to write if and then condition or relational expression, then braces, and then these statements, and after this else. Okay, these statements will be executed. Let us try to use this way as well. Okay, and then we will end up our session, or we will wind up our session. So if A greater than B, or let's try to this time use different operator, the equal operator, and because I want to execute multiple statements, that's why I have to use this curly brackets, cout. Okay, cout. Yes, you can, a simple message, you can win. Okay, and then end line, for you are winner. Cout. Cout. Okay. Now this is one block of statement. If the condition is true, all these statements will be executed. Else, cout, Kabul, okay, and is located or is beautiful as heaven on earth. So these are the statements. If the condition is true, all these statements will be executed. If the condition is false, then these statements will be executed. Okay, let's try to run this program again. And first of all, a greater than 10. Okay, 10 and 10. So what do you think? Because the condition is if A is equal to B. Now in A I have stored 10, in B I have stored 10. Both values are true, so that's why this statement will be executed. Okay, these statements will be executed. You can win, for you are winner. Okay, you can see this block of statement is executed. Okay, this block of statement is executed. And let's try to make the condition false by inserting some other values, 40 and 23. In this case, A is not equal to B, that's why the else part will be executed. Kabul is beautiful as heaven on earth. You can see three statements are printed here. Okay, Kabul is one statement, is beautiful and another statement, and as heaven on earth, it's basically another statement. So let us do this without these curly brackets and see the result. What could be the result here? You can see else without a previous if. It gives you result because there are too many. You want to print too many statements. That's why it will give you this this message on the screen. So these are the things that we discussed in today's session. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned something out of.